talking about our trip to Medellin, Colombia.
Yes, and it was a really nice place, and I'm going to apologize right now already. We tried to find the best spot to film this. We are staying at Victoria Falls, so you're going to hear helicopters and planes and stuff, so they're going over the falls, so that's the background noise that you're hearing, so apologize for that in advance. So we left from Quito to go direction Medellin, and we were going to, what we did is we bused it from Quito up to the border, and from the border we crossed by foot and stayed one night in Ipiales, it's called. It's a little village across the border, and then from there we taxied it to the airport and then flew, and the flight went from it was called, I forget the name, Paco something, and then stopped in Bogota to Medellin. And so when we left Quito, it was the afternoon time, and the guy was like, I don't think I would do that because you're going to be crossing, it's going to be dark, and it's maybe not advised, especially, you know, for you gringos, it's not a good idea. But we did it anyway, so we crossed the border at night by foot into Colombia, and we were also advised that you need to make sure that you get your passport stamped. So every single person should get their passport stamped, because if not, you can't leave the country. So I got up to the counter, I gave the guy our passports, and I saw him stamping them, and I took them back without even looking. And long story short, and I'll share this in the next video, Angelique's passport wasn't stamped, which means we had a real hard time leaving the country, which is crazy, but obviously she's with us now, so she was able to exit with a little bit of a challenge, and anyway, it was crazy.
So by this time it was getting late.
Angelique's joining us, she's gonna fill us in. Okay, go ahead, Chloe, sorry.
So we went in this guy's taxi, he had his wife and his little daughter.
They were in the car too at the border. Yeah. We were like, is this a real taxi? And we were like told all these horror stories of people getting mugged and like tourists getting like basically kidnapped, so we were kind of like
So we went at the back of the car, and then the wife and daughter stayed there, and then on Google Maps it said to go the other way instead of the way he went, and then my mom started getting scared. She was putting her money in the underwear, and
I was so flipping because we were in the back of the car, and like she said, so we follow on Google Maps, and we're like, wait a second, the village is this way and we are veering off this way, and we were like, oh my gosh, he's pulling one of these things, we're gonna like stop on the side of the road and he's meeting up with his friends and we're gonna get robbed, like we're for sure getting robbed. So yeah, my heart was like going crazy, and I was like literally emptying my purse and all my contents into my underwear,
and his gas tank was at like 0.
Yeah, it was on empty. Yeah, it was not good. Okay, so long story short, after he was just going around the city in a weird about way and then came back around, so it was good in the end. We didn't get robbed, so that was good.
So we stayed at an Airbnb which had no furniture at all. Like, we got there where the living rooms would be, there was no TV, no couches, and then at the beds there were just blow-up mattresses with like small little pillows. So
we were kind of like, where are we staying? And then, okay, so it was nighttime, so we couldn't really see where we were staying, but we woke up in the morning and we were like, oh my gosh. It was like, we opened the windows, we looked outside, what did we see?
We saw a lady with her chickens in her backyard and just...
No, in her house. They were inside her apartment.
Oh yeah.
Like we could see in the apartment, they had chickens running around inside the apartment, and then she's like getting ready, and then the whole like city was just like, it was just like, oh my gosh, let's get out of here, fast.
So then we wanted to go eat breakfast at a nice cafe. So we stopped at this one cafe to go get like coffee and stuff. And they had these little donuts that you could usually buy like in America. They're like with powdery stuff, and they looked yummy.
You know, like a regular donut, you know, normal donuts, right?
And they were hard as a rock. Like you couldn't even bite on it. It felt like you're gonna lose your teeth if you take a bite of it.
Yeah, so we were like, okay, let's just get out of here as fast as we can. So we took a taxi to the airport, and I think we got real food at the airport. I'm sure we did.
So the plane ride we took was very nice, and when we arrived in Medellin, it was like this big city, like a big city.
Medellin is so huge, and it's kind of like sprawled out, and a lot of people go there to live because the cost of living is like so good. Their internet is super fast, and they have access to everything you can possibly need and imagine. And then in a short time, you could be out in the countryside and kind of like in the hilly area and have all these beautiful properties. So we met a ton of young digital nomads just like us who were living there, running their businesses or doing their work remotely. And do you remember meeting some of them, girls?
Not really.
Okay, so we went to a meetup, and the meetup had like, it was in a bar, and so there was all these people, and we all hung out and just had a few drinks, and then we connected with some, and then one day we went to a cafe, and we met with this one young guy. Do you remember? He was like a genius. He's like a very young kid. His name's Connor, and he developed this really cool online curriculum for people who want to learn Spanish, because he learned Spanish in literally 1 month. So you definitely want to check out his video because it explains how he did it and stuff. But anyway, nonetheless, this guy's very smart, and we met him and had fun, pleasure talking to him and stuff like that. We were also, it was fun because when you go to a city and you have people that you can connect with, it makes the whole experience different as usual, right? So we also met this one guy who toured us around his place, showed us his apartment, and he was just kind of getting settled in and kind of sharing the cost of living, and the girls went for a swim in the pool, and it was just really nice. And Medellin is like a massive city, and we rented a Airbnb close enough to the downtown, and all I remember is like in the morning time all the cars going in. So for me it was like too much pollution, too many cars and everything like that, but at the same time the city has a really nice feel. So do you guys remember going to the downtown area, and it was really pretty and had all those restaurants, and it was like a square? Yeah, that was really cool, eh? Make yourself comfy. There you go. So we had nice meals down there, and then we discovered this one rooftop like bar, and it had this cool pool that when you walked in you can see like inside the pool and then out, and then we had a couple of drinks there.
A swim.
We met some people there, had fun. So that was really nice. So we met even this one lawyer from New York, and she was actually like running her whole practice from Medellin, and so it was really neat. We actually, this goes back, I want to say like 8 years ago, we met this guy on a cruise named Robert, and he was telling us like, you guys need to move to Medellin, you're gonna love it, like the cost of living is so good, you can have like housekeepers and help and blah blah blah, and like a fraction of the cost and all these things. And so he had Tyler sold on it, so we were like, okay, let's go check out this place. But one funny thing is he told us a story about this lady who we called the Blessing Lady, or he called her the Blessing Lady, because she sells gum on the streets, and then when somebody goes and buys gum from her, she literally will pray over that person for like 5 minutes, like just like, oh bless you, and she says all in Spanish, right? And so do you girls remember what happened?
We were walking downtown, and there was this lady selling gum, and we bought some gum there, right? And then she started praying.
She started blessing us and praying over us.
And we figured out that she was the Blessing Lady.
We were like, could this be the same lady that we heard about in such a huge city? We're like, no. So we were like, well, let's ask her. So we're like, do you know Robert? Nah, nah. And then she was like, no. And then we're like, okay, let's show her a picture of him on Facebook. So we found his picture on Facebook, and she was like, oh, blah, 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 blah. She was like so happy, and it was so funny. So we took a picture of this Blessing Lady, and it was just such a crazy coincidence that we met the same lady.
Locals. We went to local food stores, to shopping malls, we did our homework, my mom and dad were doing their work, and something cool about the stores is like they had fresh baked bread and all the French products, like name brands from France.
It was just like what we were used to back home, and yeah, it felt like home because there was like that Casino brand that they sell in France, right? So we were like, oh, this is good. And chocolate, they had really good chocolate there. So that was nice, right? And then we actually celebrated Chloe's birthday. What did we do for your birthday, Chloe?
We went to a water park in Colombia, and there was nobody there.
It was unreal, wasn't it? We had the whole park to ourselves.
And when we got there, it was so cheap.
Yeah.
I don't really remember the pricing, but it was super
I just remember being like, wow, that's it. And then like the fact that nobody was there, I think it must be, we must have been off season or something. I think there was like one other guy and his daughter or something like that there. And then like tell them about the rides that we did. So like there was really crazy, like really good water slides, right?
Yeah, there was one that's straight down. Chloe was the bravest one because she went straight on it, and we were like, no, we're not going. I really wanted to do it, and then I was like this, because you could sometimes freeze for it. It was
And
like
then there's
straight down.
This big wave pool that we had to ourselves, all this stuff.
And Angelique reminded me yesterday that you were supposed to have a bracelet to do the bigger rides, and one of them was like the zip line.
Into a pool, and I still did it a couple times because I hid my wrist.
So she did it. It was pretty funny. But that was a really fun experience. We had to wear these little hats, these little caps on our head, and because everyone had to wear a hat, which is good. Protects you from the sun, but it's kind of funny. A lot of people, when they talk about going to Colombia and Medellin, they're like, oh my gosh, it's so scary, like be careful. But so much has changed in the last probably 20, 30 years. Like it's super safe now. I'm sure like it's just like anywhere, you don't go down certain streets. And then like at every entry to like restaurants and even along the streets, what do you see, Angelique?
We see big army guys with like machine guns at the gas stations, at the beginning of the stores, and the shopping malls, the movies, everywhere.
Yeah, so you're like, okay, well no one's gonna mess with these guys, so it's gotta be pretty safe and pretty secure, right? There's like a whole downtown area. The downtown area is like so beautiful. Like they have these like really nice square and all the nice cafes and restaurants and really nice shopping malls and everything like that. And all the people that come to work come from like the outskirts, I guess you could say, right? So that area there is beautiful. And one day we decided to go up a telecabin and to this like kind of national park area. So I think we taxied it to there, and then we went up the telecabin. And what was funny is that the telecabin went up straight, and then all of a sudden when you get to the top, so when you're going up, you're going above all the kind of like poorer area of the city. And this is how they use their public transit, so or transportation. They literally take telecabins to go around, just like they did in La Paz. And then when we got to the top, it was literally another, I feel like 20 minutes or something like really long, all throughout this like park. And so then we were going kind of like straight, kind of like this, throughout this park, and then we got to the end and it's like big, huge national park that you can go discover, right?
With parks and stuff.
Yeah, it was really neat. And so we did the whole ride. We got there kind of late, so we couldn't really fully use and appreciate the park, but it was a really cool thing to see. And the views from up there were really cool. And then on the way down, we stopped at some of those, like, we stopped along the way off the telecabin just to go see how the people live and everything. And they had a really nice school, I remember that. Really nice facilities, and it looked like a really, just like some of the money was going to good causes, which looked to be really good.
So in Medellin, all year round it's like 25 degrees, so it's like springtime all year round. So it's nice to get like the breeze in your house. It's okay to open your windows. It's not too hot, not too cold.
I think that's why people like it there so much, is that it's like an ever springtime season, right?
Yeah.
The next video that we're going to post is actually going to be about a couple day trips that we did. So we did a day trip to one area that was just unbelievably beautiful. It's called Guatapé, and so we have so many beautiful pictures that we'll share there. So make sure you stay tuned to see that one for sure. Medellin has so much to offer, so it's definitely a city that we want to go back to and discover more of, because we only saw like probably scraping the surface of what is there and what it has to offer. I mean, we saw like beautiful botanical gardens and some beautiful things, but we definitely want to go back there, and Tyler loves it, so I think we'll probably one day go back. want to be in the know, we are creating a special newsletter for people who want to know about what our next trips are going to be and the new product launch that we're going to be launching this coming year. So go ahead over to growingupwithoutborders.com and then make sure you subscribe and enter your email address. We're also going to be posting there our upcoming videos, so you'll be the first one to know about which city we'll be posting next. So make sure you do that. Also subscribe and hit the little notification bell, because then you'll be notified for the next videos that we're posting.
And give us a big thumbs up.
Definitely give us a big thumbs up. And what else? Comment below. Let us know where you're watching from. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.